Yes. Hello, internet. This is a game. This is not a game theory. The wrong channel. But no, hello, everyone. I remembered my YouTube password again. It's yes, we have friend of the channel, Ellie. I mean, at this point, she should just run things. Like she should just, take
No,
over. No? Okay.
no.
No, this will be reverse, this is reverse Revolutionary
I'm
War.
just a friend of Caleb who or Intende, who
Trust me,
happened to
people.
join him.
My Instagram's Caleb Intende,
Yeah,
so
yeah, I
don't
think
worry.
they know your name
Yeah,
is Caleb. Yeah,
yeah. My name's Caleb, but yeah, Intende.
as a friend. So yeah.
But no, hello everyone. This is another edition of Live with Ellie. The last one actually got really good engagement, so I just wanted to keep it going. We didn't really plan things. There's not really much of an agenda, but I just wanted to hop on live with my friend, have a conversation, and then I guess kind of continue things from where we left off last time. Maybe even talk about new things that are going on. There really isn't any agenda. It's really more just a long form conversation that we're going to have. And thank you everybody who's watching. Thank you for our one viewer. Thank you for all the people who've been watching the previous lives. I have one friend. She commented on my previous live about me having a final round interview. So I'm very grateful for my one friend that commented on my video. It really means a lot. I do this, I really just do this for fun, so I don't really expect anything. So thank you. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I think you cut out for a second, Ellie, but
Did
it's
I?
it,
Okay.
yeah, it's
If
okay.
1 second, I'm gonna just try and
N-
fix what's going on because I think that might
No,
be my internet. So
no, don't. No, that's
give me a
okay.
second. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me see. Let me also mute her. Anyways, but today's been pretty. I'm actually surprised I went on live today because I was I played tennis. You're talking to the ace. You're talking to Jokic or I don't know. But you're talking to a tennis star. I played Mario tennis. I played Wii tennis. Now I played some real life tennis. My heart rate got up to 185, so that was really intense. So if I'm a little winded or if I'm a little like, it's because I was playing tennis before. But I just wanted to hop on, say hi, see what's going on. Let's see how long I last. I'm gonna be honest, it's almost like my nighttime ritual at this point. I'll go live and then I fall asleep. Like I'll go live and then it's like I want to fall asleep again. So don't like if I'm all over the place, it's because I have problems that I don't know how to solve. I just want to say hey to everyone. Hello to our one viewer. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. I hope it's good to it's good to have like a little bit of a regular. I know building an audience is so difficult. It's so difficult on live. At least with a YouTube video, you can like do like thumbnail. Well, you can do thumbnails for lives too, but you can do this or you can do that. But you can do a specific. You can do like a specific topic. But for lives, okay, let's see. Let me do this, and then let me. I think we have a friend. Welcome back!
Sorry, I
Yay!
I don't know. My internet just dropped completely, and I had to
Yes.
restart it. So I'm really sorry about that.
Oh, you have no
Sorry,
apologies.
guys. I really
Oh, it's
apologize about that.
it's actually no, that is unacceptable. This is purely for
Hey,
this
you're
is
the
a
tech guy,
profession.
man. You're the tech guy, so
Okay,
this is
well,
this is your level of knowledge and
well,
everything. So I'm gonna shift it all onto you.
My thing is, it's like Ellie. I don't like. It's like me saying to you, like, "Oh, You're the language girl. You can just, start speaking Russian." When you probably like,
I
you
mean,
know,
look, as you would know, that's why I said, like, you would know that it's not like anything in my control when this internet.
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as
No,
the
I
tech,
know, but
you
as
know
a
that
tech,
this is just, yeah.
but my thing is, it's like Ellie. I almost want to like show you my notes to Intro to Computer Science because it's like you learn the theory like and that's what university does. It doesn't teach you like practical like the things I'll do for work and the things I learned in university, they're so divorced from each other.
Yeah, I think a lot of like degrees are like that. I guess not all of them, but I feel like my degree is a bit like that too, where there's just areas where it's like some of it's purely theoretical, and I guess that's essential for like the foundation of, whatever you learn, where it might take you. But yeah, I completely get where you're coming from.
I think it's because degrees teach you how to be a researcher. Like they're
Yeah,
not teaching you how to be a practitioner. So like
yeah,
when you're like when I studied computer science, computers I think people confuse computer science with software engineering.
okay,
So when you think of tech guys, you're actually thinking of like network specialist, you're thinking of software engineers, you're just thinking of like people that have like specific domain knowledge in like specific areas of computer science. Whereas what I went
okay.
to school for was way more broad.
Oh, I see. Okay, right, right. Yeah, I mean, look, it's like you said, it's I guess especially with computers and technology, there's just so many different branches, right? Like, wow, it's a huge field. So yeah, I
Hmm.
totally get that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I'll send you if I remember. I'll send you this video. I mean, I've sent you so many tech videos, but I'll send you a
And I told you, I got round to watching one or half
yeah.
of it at least. And it was actually really helpful. Like I actually, and because I was falling asleep towards the end, not really my fault while I was falling
Uh,
asleep, but like
not allowed. That's not allowed.
no, at this point, like I couldn't stay awake even if
No,
I
that's
wanted
fine.
to. It wasn't
Yeah.
like because I was bored. It was like, I think I remember I told you like I was just falling asleep
Yeah.
basically, and like yeah,
Oh
but
my
it was
gosh.
it was really interesting. I was actually really engaged in everything. Um,
Oh my gosh.
oh,
Hello,
this is
hello, Baz.
hello, Baz. Lovely to see you again.
But no,
I like that howdy, mate. That's like a combination
oh
of
yeah,
UK
no,
and American
you
speech.
know, Ellie, that's a great way to describe our friendship. It's a Texan that spent way too much time.
Transatlantic, yeah,
Exactly.
transatlantic, yeah,
I
international, global,
yeah,
online.
spent
Yeah.
way too much time in the pub. I've spent way too like I start saying now crack on. Like I was like, oh, we crack on
Oh,
really well.
good, good.
Yeah, I say that to my like I just said it in the group chat today. I was like, oh, we crack on really well, and I was like, okay, why
Oh,
not you?
crack on. Yeah, it's like when I say crack on, it's like when you like, oh, I've got something to do, I've got to crack on.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah.
I've also seen it. I might be asleep by the time this. Oh, that's okay. Oh my gosh, I'm just
You
happy.
can let us put you to sleep.
I'm
Like
happy you're.
our voices will put you to sleep.
Oh my gosh. No, Baz, you are a friend of the. Oh my gosh, you are a friend of the channel.
Yeah,
So
Baz is an
please,
OG. Baz is an
no,
OG, like a wonderful guy. Just yeah, always
no.
happy when I
So
see you here, Baz.
trust me, any engagement, very encouraging. I only like. Not only do I only wish happiness for you, but there is no expectation. So the fact that you even popped in, I that means the world to me.
Yeah, and like we again, like we were saying at the start, we haven't really got anything
Nice.
specific. I think we're going to
Hmm.
speak about. So this could just be like, well, I don't know if I'd consider myself to be ASMR in my voice and stuff, but like it could just be something nice to have on in the background. It's just yeah, background noise. Yeah.
Ellie, I actually think of this like a morning talk show when I'm just like I think of
I like that. I actually like that energy. I agree with you.
yeah.
Yeah, it could be. It could be a very, like I don't know what would it be called? It'd have to be something like Texan and the London
Oh my gosh, what is it called? Mick Texas? I don't know.
Look, Texas.
Mick
Yeah, be
Texas,
like
I don't
I
yeah.
don't know, ribeye steak with a cup of tea in the morning, something like
No,
that.
no. Ellie, I have a beautiful idea. What if a ribeye steak with beans on it? Ribeye steak.
Yeah, and no matter how many times I tell you this, it's just not gonna get through, is it? Like,
No, it's not. You know it's crazy. Okay, so when I'm in Uganda, the UK continental breakfast, it's a delicacy.
yeah.
Like
Yeah. You know what? I actually yesterday like I was on a kind of thing on like
yeah.
well, it's Roblox and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's
yeah. No, I know. You're on a
really
game. You're
yeah, kind of me, but like it was there was like it's like a game called Neighbors where you like
Hmm.
like you kind of just get dropped in a random voice chat with random people. And like it's obviously international, and there's a lot of Americans who are on there, and
Yeah.
like I think I've told you about this before, and they said the same thing. Not once, two different people asked us if we eat beans on toast, and I
Beans.
was
So
like,
you have beans on toast? Do you eat beans
yeah,
on
I was
toast?
like, no way. Why is this? And it's kind of new because I've known Americans before. They've obviously asked certain questions, but they would never used to say beans on toast. So this
So
is
it's either
something that's caught on. Yeah,
so it's either beans on toast, toast, I
toast. Yeah,
so or
Dos
it's like
alas.
or Top Boy Summer House. Like people be like, Wagwan. What you
Yeah,
saying? The
I think
Ute.
that's Netflix, right? I think
Yeah, so
Netflix.
yeah, it's like
Yeah, yeah,
I get so whenever I like talk up like Ellie when I talk I'm like, "Oh, my friend, she's from the UK," and this those are the two extremes I get. Either they'll go full roadmen, like they'll go full like
and to
what
think Roadman is a tiny percentage of UK culture. It's not
and
representative of the rest of the UK.
that's what's but it's like but that's like what just got exported. Like
I
that's
know,
what
I know. It's bizarre. And beans
yeah.
on toast. I mean,
And then yeah.
it's I told you like that's a comfort food. Like that's
Hmm.
not what you sit down and eat for dinner. Like officially, like that's I don't know. Look, some people do. That's why I'm not gonna be like rude about it. But like I just find it bizarre how that's become the new thing about the UK. It's like beans on toast.
Yeah, it's so like oh my gosh, I was at the club on Sunday.
The club?
Yeah, I went to like a yeah, I would say it's a nightclub. I went to like a nightclub.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, I know. I went nightclub on a Sunday night and oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm so messed up. So this girl, she had a Union Jack short skirt.
Okay.
And so I walk over to I like say to my friend, I'm like, she's got Union Jack on her ass. My friend just started like dying laughing because it was so random. Like, why? I was not expecting to see a what is it called? Ooh, okay. Ellie could recommend me some of the best English cheeses. I like cheese on toast.
Ah, good point, Baz. I could yeah, I could actually give you, but the thing is because I think for me the best cheese for pizza and toast is obviously like a nice cheddar cheese, right? I
It's
mean
not a that's
yeah,
cheddar is not that's not unique to the UK though, is it?
well it's from the UK. Cheddar. It's an
Oh,
actual
cheddar's.
item. Yeah.
Oh, I
I
didn't.
know other countries use it now, but it is originating from the UK. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I know
Yeah,
you
because I know
guys have something like Montgomery Jack or something,
we
something
have
like that, right?
I only have American cheese on my cheese.
Yeah, like, and some of you guys' cheese is so like, I've seen the tube cheese, and obviously we all.
Oh, string cheese.
Oh
You're
man,
talking about string. Oh my god. Maybe that's my our beans on toast because if Ellie, you're like Caleb, you have some string cheese before this, I would be like, really? This is what we're known for is string cheese. Like,
you know what though? Like, I remember one thing about America that really struck me. I mean, I loved it when I was there, but I just remember like going into a convenience store and like the sugar like through the products. And I think that's because like I know this for a fact, like American companies and they're allowed to use a lot more sugar. So I just remember this distinct smell of like candy in the shop and just being like, wow, this is amazing.
so the thing is about the United States is that there's actually a tariff on sugar.
Oh, okay.
So it's why a lot of our products have high fructose corn syrup because we don't like you can't like cane sugar, there's a huge tax on it.
Okay, sorry, I think it broke up.
No,
So
yeah, I think it broke up a
yes.
little bit. But I was just saying
Yeah.
there's a huge tax on cane sugar.
Oh, in the US.
Yeah, in the United States, yeah.
Oh, okay, right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like when everything has sugar, it's just high fructose corn syrup. Also,
Yeah,
mm-hmm,
yeah. I watched that on Netflix once about the whole thing about like it was something to do with sugar and how like basically I don't know if you've seen that documentary, you probably haven't, but it's like yeah, it just described in how America like there was this whole massive scandal of how like they try to market things as fat free, but actually they input a lot of like corn syrup, like you said,
Oh,
into
okay.
products. Like they just snuck it in there. And yeah, and that's the reason, like, yeah, anyway, that's a complete tangent,
Oh
but
my
yeah,
God. No,
talking about
this is what do you Ellie, I failed geometry. Tangent City. Come on. Tangent after tangent.
is that what when I say going on a tangent, like, I really forgot that it's to do with maths. Like I
Yes,
just yeah.
ma'am.
Oh
Yeah, so
wow.
it's
Yeah.
whenever it's the line that touches the circle at one point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You learn
I feel
something
like
new every day.
your memory is fresher than mine when it comes to like maths and kind of stuff like that. I think maybe because I haven't been
Well,
in school for so long now that like I have
also
forgotten so much.
I think because of yeah, because of computer science, I've kind of had to like
Ah, yes, of
yeah,
course.
you know, the
Yeah,
tech guy, the tech guy,
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
especially if I want to go to grad school in a few years, I have to like remember
Hmm.
more stuff.
Yeah,
That's what's so
yeah.
interesting about like being in a like being 26 is it's like I feel like I relate more to man, this might get me canceled, but I feel like I relate more to children in when it comes to like academic knowledge because I just like I spent 8 years in college or universe. I spent
Yeah,
8 years in
I guess for
university.
you it's like you can relate to that feeling of having that whole kind of academic structure around you, right? And like
Mhm.
having to study and revise and exams. Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Whereas most what is it called? The US uses more a lot more corn syrup in their McDonald's stuff. Yeah, yes we do. Yes we do.
Yeah, that's right, Baz. Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
also use a lot of MSG in our Chinese food.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember when I was like younger, there was a whole campaign against that. Like everyone was freaking out over that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what was specifically so bad about MSG. I think now they're kind of a bit more relaxed about it.
I know growing up my dad hated MSG. Like I didn't
Mm.
like I mean I remember growing up I would have to wait until my dad was out of town for my mom to order a Chinese takeaway. To
Oh,
no
okay,
yeah,
takeaway. Yeah,
yeah, takeaway, yeah,
takeout.
to
Yeah,
order yeah,
yeah,
to order some takeaway. Like to order some
yeah.
Chinese takeaway, my it was like my dad would go on these conferences twice a year, and that's when it's like I don't know, kiwis, it would be kiwis and Chinese takeaway. Those were the things I don't know why those are the things that we can eat when my dad's away.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, the
Yeah,
United States does put in a lot of preservatives into its food.
yeah. It's and as I said, like, because well, I don't know about now since we left the EU, but maybe it's still the same. I'm not too sure, but we definitely have a lot of regulations to do with like EU stuff. So yeah, well, I mean, some of it's good, you know. I can't really lie. Like it's for the people's best interest, I think, you know. Um,
Ah, okay. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
whereas but back to what I was saying about schooling, I can relate to students because if anything, work is weird to, like the idea of going into an office, the idea of a 9 to 5 or like a regular schedule, that's going to be so foreign to me because
Mm,
not been my like that's just not been my adult life. My adult life has been recitations, it's been going to the TA, it's been final exams, it's been summer classes. It hasn't been like, you know, expense reports and Microsoft spreadsheets and
yeah,
having, you know, rush hour traffic.
yeah, yeah. And I completely get what you're saying, but I think even with school kids too, at some point, I guess it's like you got to just like, you know, when you go to like the world of work after a long time of studying, I guess it's like you just take the plunge and just go into that world, and it's just like, right, this is the new reality. And yeah, and it's like it's just that transition, I guess.
I think what really upsets me about the school system, I can't speak on the UK, but I wish that our schools would teach you more abstract reasoning. Like I wish
Like, do you mean to do with like, I don't know, like what kind of topics do you mean?
okay, so like we spent a lot of time writing about things about like don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful for like the humanities education I've received and the like the science and math and engineering education I've received. But it was very like there was always like one fixed correct answer. Or even like in the
Mm,
humanities classes, there was a particular way, but like it was only for like a final project where you were allowed to be a bit more creative. Like I wish,
okay.
yeah, where I wish there was more project-based learning. That's what I mean by abstract where it forces
Mhm.
you to where the define the requirements are not defined.
Yeah, did you like have any kind of art subjects that you took or like drama or music or sports as well?
I took what is it called? I took a art appreciation class in my final so I took wait, did you also say sports? Did you also say sports?
Are you talking about like high school or are you talking about
Both. Either high
yeah,
school or
so like
university.
it compulsory like in your like high school education to do sports and like arts and that kind of thing?
Yes, it was compulsory to do sports, arts, and technology.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think those are some of the places, I guess it depends on the school, but like from what my kind of like understanding is, I feel like those subjects help students to kind of get that kind of ability to expand and not be so like, but I do agree with what you're saying as well. I do feel like the school completely wants to like mold people into a certain way, or
Mm,
they want to like sieve out who is the
yeah.
best suited for society, and they want to like reward that, and then people who are not that way inclined feel absolutely awful about themselves.
Yes.
And I really don't like that about the school system. I just think the more I think about it, okay, yeah, I get why it's necessary, but there is just so much to improve in the school system. So much room for improvement.
You're preaching to the choir. And we're
Mm,
going to, about 10 years ago, we got a sugar tax here. So chocolate in the full sugar coat and Pepsi, for example, is very expensive now. Ellie
yeah.
will know about that. I think even fruit juice got more Oh,
Yeah,
even
it is, yeah.
wait, really? Even like wait, so if I went to like a farmer's market, even that would like fruit.
Well, it depends if it's all like actual oranges that they've
Uh,
used. But if it's like a fruit juice where they've added sugar and other things, then yeah, it would be much more expensive than just pure fruit orange on its own.
it's always interesting to me how like government regulations on food shapes the culture.
Yeah, yeah, it has a huge influence on the culture. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
I think
so
that's one of the reasons why they do it actually, because it does have a huge effect.
it's almost as if it's like the government is telling us what to eat or like
Mm.
but not directly, but just through like making certain things easier and then making things more difficult.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah,
No,
exactly. I agree.
no, you're good, you're good, you're good.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I think the weirdest part about like finishing university is it's like I have all this head knowledge, like I have all these things that I remember, but then in my day to day, I don't use it. Like I don't, the
Yeah,
theory of computation, I don't use any of that stuff. So
yeah.
it is very interesting to like transition out of that.
Yeah. I think as well though, like I guess one of the aims of uni is to like it shapes the way you think. So maybe you might not necessarily use all the knowledge you have, but all that knowledge you would have gained would have actually helped you to start seeing the world through a kind of specific lens or help you to analyze data better or more effectively. I think that's part of the reason they do it as well, because you know, I remember feeling that way too. Like there was so much stored in your mind, which is impossible to use all of it. But I look back now and I think, well, actually, that helped me to, and I'm actually grateful because it taught me how to really look at data differently and how to kind of understand, like, I guess, just like base reality in a different way as well.
Oh
But
my gosh.
I
Yeah.
will say, like, again, like with all kind of academic institutions, like now I do feel like it kind of boxes you in. Like I've gone on my own kind of journey as well of like actually expanding my like knowledge and going into places where like you would never be encouraged to look at that kind of research or even have those kind of questions, but I've actually done that on my own. So yeah, maybe I don't know about you if you found yourself doing that too.
So I like what you said about like base reality and like how it kind of
Yeah.
silo. No, that well, it's funny, the tech guy term, if I were to
Hmm.
translate to this to computer science, we call that the base case.
Mm.
Yeah, we call
Okay,
that
yeah.
yeah. So I know we've talked about axioms before and we've talked about
Yeah.
this. So one of like the mathematical principles is called induction, where you have
Hmm.
like the base case, which is like the default, like that's what you're trying to work towards. And then you have
Yeah.
like the inductive step, which is the next step. And I think
Right.
that the education system focuses so much on like the base, like, okay, we have
Mm.
this mold, this person did like, all these credits and can like, They can be really good as a secretary, or they could be really good as a nurse or as a day laborer.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you want somebody who's like going to go out and be like a philosopher, or go out and be like a musician, or even go out and be like a very like eccentric entrepreneur like Steve Jobs,
Mm-hmm.
that's where I think the school system kind of, it's like it kind of
Because essentially you can't teach those things to
mm-mm,
people. It's got to come from within and real life experience. Like that's what they say about people who are like, talented musicians or artists.
yeah.
You can't teach that. You're just born with these certain traits, or you're gifted with certain talents. And yeah, and I think that's why, like, when I meet someone who's not necessarily very strong academically, like, in the traditional subjects, I'm like, look, if you're gifted in art or something else, then you should really embrace that, because that's your gift. Not all of us have to stick to, the kind of traditional academic thing. Yeah, it serves its purpose as well, but I think that to be extremely talented, or even like a sports person, again, you cannot teach that to someone. You need to be
No,
born
you
with
can't.
something that takes you to that place.
You know what I've always found interesting? I've always found like extremely successful people, or highly competent. I don't want to use the word successful. I think competent. I've always found highly competent people very fascinating. Yeah, that X factor where people are able to like a Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi. You see, I included Lionel Messi, or like somebody who's like who gets like a Fields Award in math, or somebody who's like like Einstein, or somebody who like gets these Nobel prizes. It's always been interesting to me that like they're able to just take things to the extreme. And it's interesting how like one person, like like a small group of people can have such an outsized impact on like any field, whether it be medicine, whether it be biology, whether it even be sports or business. Like it's interesting how like a small group of people are actually like kind of represent, I think it's like the 80-20 principle, if you've heard of that.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
But no, I've just like, I think for me it's like, I think I use that as a way that like, because I struggle with attention and I really struggle with doing one task at a time.
hmm
So for me, I've tried to focus more on like not trying to do 10 things okay, but to just do one thing really well.
Yeah, which is actually really good. I think that's how you got to do it, because all of us are unique, and like in your case, you know that like you struggle with attention, so it's like, right, you just have to adapt to a world that's not necessarily built for. The world's built like in a very cookie cutter way, for like
Yeah.
one type of person. And if we're not those kind of people that fit into that mold, then yeah, the best we can do is actually, adapt ourselves. Like you said, you've learned to do one task and
Yeah.
focus on what you can do. Yeah, I think that's actually really good.
You know what I find very interesting about the internet is that
Mm.
you would think that with like all this access to information, it would create like this diversity within, I guess, online atmospheres, but it's kind of done the opposite in my opinion.
I think because humans are still humans. It's like you're dealing with humans and they're always going to bring things back to, the human way of doing things.
Which, it's interesting though, is it's like because I do think about like collectivism versus individualism, and
hmm
what is it? And I was just thinking about how like you actually have to like take a risk if you want to do your own thing.
Yeah,
Like
that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
because like I look at like social media, for example, like you look at someone like Mr. Beast who has like 500 million subscribers, and
hmm
you'd think that like instead of people saying, "Oh, look at this person," like let's like like let's use that as like use him as like some kind of like, okay, he's like this outlier. I see a lot of people trying to copy his thumbnail style,
Yeah.
trying to be like, hey guys, what, it's Mr. Beast, and today and in 20 minutes, and I'm just like, no, like why are we like, you can tell like someone's trying to be more like Mr. Beast, when
Yeah.
chances are it's like, because me, I can't, oh, first of all, I don't have the budget. I don't, I don't have the budget to like, to go fly
Yeah.
around the,
He
yeah.
he he actually started with barely anything, actually.
Hmm.
Like he was just getting successful. Like he get a little bit successful off one video and he just reinvest, reinvest, reinvest. Like that was his business model. And as I was saying to you before, like he was just obsessed with YouTube. Like he was just
Hmm.
fascinated by the whole kind of thing behind it. And that because it was his fixation, I guess, it just pushed him forward. But not all of us can do that. I think
No.
that's, that's one kind of person. And there's a lot of luck involved in it. Like people don't like
Yeah.
to admit that, but there's a lot of luck. I mean, and I was actually thinking about this the other day because I was like, imagine how many geniuses are out there that have just not been discovered, or like, top football players or like other sport, like that it's the becoming really successful. It's just so many odds stacked against it, and people love to pretend that, oh, that person just worked hard enough, and it's like, no, like yes, his talent contributed, but there were so many other factors that went into that. And again, like you're saying, you can't just copy someone and become like that. It's essentially, I think a lot of it's down to luck. I really do.
And I could not agree with you more because I think
Yeah.
that there's the back when I was into self-help, back when I was trying to become a deity myself. No, but when I was reading self-help books, one of the things I remember is they would say success is luck, or not luck, is opportune when opportunity meets preparation. But
Right. Okay.
not everybody has the opportunity. Not everybody
Exactly.
has the opportunity
Exactly.
to go
Yeah.
to like Oxford or Harvard. Not
Hmm.
everybody has the opportunity to have like the internet connection to be in a part of
Yeah.
the world where you can upload YouTube videos.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
and I
Yeah.
think also it's like I do think there's a masculine element to Mr. Beast's success. Not saying
Yeah.
that
Yeah. I
I don't
agree. Yeah.
I don't it's not saying that women can't be as successful to Mr.
Hmm.
Beast, but I
Hmm.
just don't see a woman like how many women do you know would sit down and read like the Bible for 24 hours straight on a live stream?
I think there are definitely women out there who would.
But I think
And I
men are
think,
more likely, in my opinion.
um, I guess the thing is, it's like this is what, like when I used to research like female autism and everything,
Yeah,
this kind of relates to that because what they find is that women do have hyperfixations, but it's usually in more feminine coded things. So you might get a woman who's able to, I don't know, actually, and I'm not trying to sound gender
yeah,
stereotypical here, but just give an example of things that are more associated with like female interests. So like she might be able to do that with beauty products or like
or like
skincare.
crocheting or
Yeah,
knitting, for say.
crocheting, like
Yeah,
exactly. And that's what's going to lead me to my other point, because this is why autism used to be underdiagnosed in women as well, because they were looking for like masculine things that, like, oh, they're not interested in trains or maths or whatever.
yeah.
But actually the women were, they still had the same hyperfixation, but it was just in other areas. So, like what you're saying, like, oh, woman, you wouldn't really see her sitting and reading the Bible for 24 hours. I would say, well, maybe not, but I guarantee there are women doing other things for 24
No,
hours straight.
I also think that the way the YouTube algorithm and just the economy rewards masculine fixations.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. Yeah, definitely. And that also extends to men because they also punish men who, well, not, I don't think punish is the right word, but definitely shame and make men feel bad if they're not into those masculine things. That happens too.
Yeah, so it is very interesting how like I feel like the YouTube algorithm, it's almost like I almost want to call it like crack cocaine. It's just the extreme, like it's legit, like it just rewards such extreme like
Yeah.
behavior where
Yeah.
like and that's why you'll see people doing all these crazy things for engagement.
Yeah, that's true. And I also think like also it also depends on like the viewers and what they gravitate towards. So like humans kind of like, they'll see a person and feel like, oh, that's a great representation, or that really fits my kind of like idea of, I don't know, like a self-help person. Like I really relate to this person as someone I'd look up to in my personal life. And I think that plays into it as well. Like people want to like form that kind of parasocial relationship with their content creators in a healthy way, in that way. And I think that's also what drives people towards, and then the algorithm will push them out more because people are engaging more.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's weird. I actually think of the YouTube algorithm almost like a casino.
It is and it isn't because it also
Okay.
works on engagement, isn't it? Right, like likes and stuff can push, and watch time really helps, like
Yeah.
get more like
No,
views and stuff.
it's weird. It's like I think that's what I find so fascinating is it's like as someone who's studied some algorithms on a very basic, I'm not don't call me with your algorithm questions, but no, it is very interesting that it almost feels alive. Like it almost feels like a
I agree with you
living.
there. Like, yeah, like it's got its own consciousness going on. Yeah.
And it's interesting how like the way we interact with technology shapes our almost I want to say reality.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd agree with you there, especially in this day and age. Like, and it goes, over into areas like our political views,
Mhm.
how we interact with the opposite gender. It really is changing human society, definitely.
Because I feel like stuff like whether it be red pill movement, certain conservative or certain liberal or progressive um, ideologies, I don't think that would be as prevalent
Yeah.
without social media. But because if you just say the right thing, it just like it's almost like a spark, and then it lights a
Yep.
flame.
Yep. And I guess as well, people gravitate towards it because I feel like the red pill, for example, is like there was a void to be filled,
Yeah,
people were disenfranchised, or specifically
yeah,
men
young
felt
men, young men.
disenfranchised. Yeah. So the red pill is almost like a response to modern problems in society as well. Just like feminism, I guess. Well, with feminism, that started before the internet, but like
Yeah,
that also was a response to the way women were being treated horrifically for so long. And as I said, like the red pill, it's like a modern phenomenon. And the internet has definitely like just pushed it out. Like, whereas I agree with you, I think it would have been on the fringes
yeah,
because before, the narrative was always controlled, especially with like mass media, was controlled by the news and the newspapers and whatever producer or like executive decided to, put out. Like, that's where the collective consciousness was kind of like formed and like kind of presented to people. But yeah, I actually think it's a good thing now that the internet took away the power. I always say that I'm glad it took away the
okay.
power of
I
certain individuals.
I think it's good that some knowledge is democratized, but my concern does become when certain dangerous ideologies start spreading. I think
Yeah.
the hard part is differentiating between something that's on the fringe that's like rising up because
Mhm.
I could so see this. Luckily, like there hasn't been like some kind of like movement that started, excuse me, that started on the internet and then like gained political power. We haven't seen that yet in our
Yeah, I'm trying to think though, because I think you know, I I mean, I don't know if there's been like a full like,
yeah.
political party that started or online or
Hmm.
something. But I do think there's definitely been elements of like echo chambers online. And there was that whole Cambridge Analytica thing where like
Ah, yes, Cambridge and yeah, with Facebook.
yeah. And that actually like caused a lot of conversation around, oh my gosh, like, is our political system now, is a voting system truly like, is it truly people just voting like pure democracy, or has it been manipulated to some degree? So yeah, but I think, yeah, as you're saying, maybe we haven't had a dangerous ideology online come into life. Online like discourse is definitely has ripple effects, in real life.
I think the when it comes to dangerous ideologies and ripple effects and internet, I think it's one of those things also the internet's still it's only like 30 years old. Like
Hmm.
it's still in its infancy. So it is going to be interesting because I think what concerns me is that people in the United States are very polarized. They're very, very polarized, as in people don't agree on immigration, people can't even agree on like just public health matters. And so I think what really concerns me is it's like if something gets really popular and there isn't any basis or there's no empirical evidence to back up like a certain populism, I'm afraid of like just a wave of emotion coming in and then just kind of sweeping over.
Yeah, sorry, I think my internet was breaking
Oh,
up
your
again.
internet cut. But what I was saying
But I did
basically,
yeah.
I was just saying that, like, I think it's great that knowledge is democratized and that it's more accessible. I'm just afraid that, like, I wish there was ways to, like, give people more media training or media literacy so that
Right.
they're
Yeah.
just not taken up by emotion. Because then I feel
Yeah.
like, because then this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with education. Because I feel like with the education system, if if most people just fit into like some mold, then it's like there might be a situation in which they need to think critically or think independently, but the mold didn't give them that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also think that actually, like, the way they expect society to work is that the people who fit into the mold
Hmm.
don't really need to think that
Yeah.
much. They go to work, they pay their taxes, they come home. And the elites, the political elite in this case, they feel like they are the ones who decide, what's good for humanity and what direction we should be going in. And I think that's worked. I mean, there's always been revolutions and stuff, but I think that's kept people in check for a long time.
Yeah.
But again, this is where the internet is changing the game, because like now people have more access to, like, so many different views, and they feel more enabled to actually use their critical reasoning skills, or like actually listen to their intuition and be like, hold on a second, my government's telling me it's racist, to be against, let's just say, mass migration.
Mm, yeah.
But I'm actually concerned about, well, how are we going to support all these people coming in? Like, how are we going to? We don't have the infrastructure, and they're still being told, no, you're just racist for thinking that. When actually, no, they're asking genuine questions. So I think that's definitely something that's happening now, and I think in that case, it the only problem is, it's like I just feel like the kind of ruling elites are not going to they're not going to allow the average person to try and control that narrative. As long as they can control it, they will.
I think my I think it's good that I think the greatest thing the internet has done is really shown, like, I sometimes look at just the demographic shifts within the
Mm.
Western world, where I would see YouTube videos from 50, 80 years ago, and I'm like, is this London? Is this New York City? Is this like America? And I think for people who do feel disenfranchised, it kind of gives them evidence that no, things have changed.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
the way
Yeah.
that their grandparents lived. Yeah, thank you, Baz. The way
Yeah.
that their grandparents lived is just
Hmm.
not,
Hmm.
it's just not the same. And I
Yep.
think especially like when it comes to inflation or cost of living crisis,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the internet just shows you that, hey, like you can see like your grocery bill, you can see your housing bill or your housing like mortgage payment. Your
Yep.
dollars are just not going as far. Whereas before, it's like the information may have been a bit more siloed. So like
Yep.
people may have felt it, but there really was no way to like voice this frustration.
Yeah, and they could gaslight people,
Hmm.
because no doubt they use tactics like that, gaslighting people. Of course they do. There's been so many misinformation campaigns, disinformation campaigns, like psyops. And again, for so long, these were considered to be like conspiracy theories. Oh, the government would never do a psyop. Now we've got genuine proof. They've even governments have accepted, yes, that was a psyop. They usually admit this about things that were like 70 years ago, but like, of course they have manipulated information for so long. And like we're saying, that's a lot harder to do now, and everyone's got a smartphone. Well, not everyone, but most people have a phone. They can film things, they can upload it, they can upload the actual experience. And it's for me, it's actually fascinating to see how the governments are responding to that, how they're looking at people now, and they're thinking, right, what do we need to do now to kind of make sure people don't feel like disenfranchised, although they can't afford things anymore, they can't buy a house, they can't get a job out of university. I'm looking at them like, right, how long are you going to keep this going? How long are you going to convince people that everything's okay? We just need to, I don't know, study harder, work harder, just let more people come in, just allow like hospitals to have endless waiting lists. Like, how long do they think people will tolerate that for?
Well, my thing is, it's like I think what's going on though is it's like I think enough people are satisfied enough in the system even though there are some clear flaws. Like I feel, trust me, my journey with trying to find employment, I
Mm,
have a lot of criticisms with the way things are set
hmm.
up right now. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think the problem is it's like I think the problem is economically or politically or organizationally, even though there might be like some aggression or there might be millions of people, especially young men. I think of young men all the time because I think of all the statistics about young men. I think about how like their rates of unemployment are higher at our all-time high. I think of the rates of lonely, like my most popular video on my channel is about male loneliness.
Hmm.
I think though,
Yeah,
like, I think what governments are doing is they're trying to legalize marijuana. They're trying to make gambling more accessible. So I
hmm.
like I can't prove this, but my opinion is I think they're trying to like balance the frustration out with just like carnal pleasures.
Absolutely. More numbing of the mind, right? It's more
Hmm.
like, here you go, have this distraction, but that doesn't work. That doesn't work for humans. Humans inside of us have certain basic needs, and when they're not met, everything else starts to fall apart. And that's biology. Like that's not
Yeah.
anything that they can really change unless they change the wiring inside of us. And I actually think it's, you said male loneliness, and I
Yeah.
look up, yeah, all these kind of these are like, so this is such a tragedy that we're at a point now where people, our most basic thing, the thing is humans, which I think makes us humans really, is the support for one another and
Yeah.
our ability to connect and reach out to one another and speak to one another. And that's even, that's like a luxury now, for so many people.
And this kind of reminds me of our last live stream we did last week, Ellie, where we were talking about how, okay, then like, where's the hope? Where's the good?
Mhm.
And where's like, the optimism? And because we were saying like a lot of things we were concerned about. And I'm going to say something very similar to last time, like I did this time. I think myth, I think storytelling, I think
Yeah,
ritual, I think
yeah,
community, I think those things are unbreakable. Like, I
yeah.
don't care what government agenda, I don't care, like, yes, these are real problems: cost of living, migration, male loneliness, females are also lonely too. So
Well,
I'm not
I mean, as women, we've had problems for so long.
exactly.
Society has always been problematic for women. I mean, I'd say
Exact
civilization has carried a
civilization, yeah.
lot of problems. Yeah,
And
but
it's
yeah,
interesting because if anything, if you think historically, like when you look at ancient civilizations, like I'm talking thousands, like actually I was researching this. I've mainly briefly talked to you about this. Celtic civilizations, their gender equality was way more like the gender roles were way more ambiguous. Where
yeah,
you
yeah,
actually where you didn't know like men and like you'll read some Celtic stories and you didn't know like if the protagonist was a male or a female.
yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I do think that a lot of these problems that we have, it's like it's very cyclical. And I do
yeah.
think though, but I don't think it's the end. I actually think like maybe it's the African in me. Maybe it's the African, we all sing Kumbaya and watch a little Lion King and Black Panther. But no, I think about how like within like with all these problems, I think humans will find a way to adapt.
I hope so. But I always feel like, uh we are still like living creatures at the end of the day, so we still have an ability to make ourselves go extinct if we're not careful. And I don't think our existence is guaranteed if we don't take care of our planet, if we don't take care of each other. And it's clearly there's been episodes in the past where like a lot of people have unfortunately died, and we've just made it through. Like people have always survived, but I do believe that the way the world is going, I really hope we can like use our technology for good. Use our brains and our ability to connect and the internet. I hope we can use that to make a better world. And
Oh
I'm
my,
optimistic in that way. Yeah.
oh no, Ellie, I think I'm very pro sustainability. I'm very pro like just trying to what is it called? I'm very pro just trying to find reusable, sustainable, just dynamic or creative ways of solving these problems because I think at the end of the day, yeah, if we mismanage our resources, it's going to be what is it called? There's going to be some problems. Now, it's weird. It's like while there are problems, like I think I read something like a UN report where global poverty is at an all-time low, and something like, and I think also like hunger is also at an all-time, or like worldwide hunger is at like its historic lows. So I think sometimes it's easy to be myopic and look at, oh, the Western world. And the Western world does have like some very concerning things, like very concerned about some things in the Western world. But luckily, also at the same time, we're able to kind of like find, like there are good trends. Like there are, I think literacy also is also at an all-time high. And so it is very interesting, like where I think both truths can be true, where we can have some concerning trends, but then globally, like when you include like the developing nations and things that are outside like the Western, yeah, no, the Western, and I guess, yeah, the Western sphere of influence, you're like, oh, okay, there are things that are really encouraging. I remember when I was younger, I used to go to Uganda a lot more. Like that's where my family is Uganda. And there used to be rolling blackouts. There used to be rolling blackouts in Uganda. This was maybe 2005, 2006, 2007. There would be rolling blackouts. I was in 2022. There were no rolling blackouts. Now, I'm not saying like I definitively know the Ugandan power grid, and I'm not saying I'm like some kind of energy expert, but within my lifetime, within what, 18 years? Yeah, within 18, like 15, 18 years, I've seen an increase in just overall energy output within developing nations. And I think that's really encouraging. I think that's really encouraging because I think when I think of the global economy, I think of energy. And I think of how at the end of the day, it's like a lot of the reason why we're able to do this live stream is because of electricity. So like being able to generate heat, it's like I think everything else is a function of how much energy you export. So while there's like some global things I'm like worried about, it's weird. I think like when it comes to, I guess if I were to use base reality, I really like that term, base reality. But no, I think if we were to use base reality, I think humans will find a way to kind of return to something that's normal. But no, yeah, that was, yeah, that also you're muted. I don't know if you, okay, just
Yeah,
wanted
no,
to,
no,
no,
I
you're
heard
good, you're
that.
good.
Yeah, no, my
Yeah,
internet was okay. Yeah, no,
no, no, don't
you know, I
worry.
agree with you. I think as well, like I look at areas like, to do with the kind of social side of life, like we're talking about people
Mm,
feeling connected to each other and
yeah,
everything. And I think, like, I am obviously we've made massive improvements as
mm-hmm,
humans in all areas, but at the same time, I just feel like we as humans we just have a tendency to not really use our abilities for our best interest. I think, we still are very kind of we haven't really left our kind of I don't want to say I don't like the word primitive, but like
yeah.
we still are very concerned with, like fighting other nations and divisions and that. And I know that, look, that's part of having a society. You are going to have to, there's going to be wars, there's going to be this and that. But I think humans can really get to a place where we kind of sort out a lot of the issues we have now, which, which increase suffering, and kind of enable a space where we can really use our brain power to start just like, exploring space more, like just going really deep into kind of technological developments. Like that's just kind of what I envision, when I think about it. Yeah.
So there was a quote you were kind of like, I was thinking of this quote, like, the real problem of humanity is the following. We have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. So I think while we've made so many advances in AI, in biotechnology, in sustainability, and energy, I do think though, like our primitive emotions, and then our government institutions are 1,000 years old. Democracy that comes from like democratia, or where you'd say, yeah, it's like the will of the people. So it's like, so no, Ellie, I actually, I could not agree with you more. Where it's almost weird. It's as if we advance more and more with AI. It's as if we actually go farther and farther back regressively. because like what concerns me, like I don't know if you know the company Anthropic.
You know,
They
I've heard of them. I have heard of
Okay, so
them.
there's ChatGPT, but
Yeah.
then there's Claude Code or Claude.
Yeah, I know
Yeah, you've
Claude.
heard of.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like they'll propose things that are very dystopian. Like where it's like they're saying, "Oh, you're not going to work anymore. You're not going to do this. AI is going to do everything," which, mind you, I think at least in this current, and I've made a video about this on my channel. It's called AI will not replace you, stupidity will. You know, if you wanna check out one of my old videos, AI won't replace you, stupidity will. But no, like I think while I think we're both very pro AI people. We both use AI in our day-to-day work.
AI has actually improved my life so much. I can't be I say it's just like the internet. I think it's a gift to humanity. Like
Exactly.
it's really helped me, and I know
But
it's helped others as well.
no, same here. Whereas for me, I'm able to like now learn about more about my learning style and like compare like my writing style and even my YouTube videos. But my thing is with something like AI, it's like it can also you also see some tech leaders trying to bring this form of techno feudalism where we all need to use AI models, I don't know what it's like in the UK, but in the United States, they're building a lot of data centers which are very energy intensive. Like it's very energy intensive to build out some of these data centers where like people's electricity costs are going up. Also, people forget like there's a lot of water usage. I'm not an environmental scientist, you know. I didn't take the environmental scientist elective, but it's like there are trade-offs. So while I'm very for like expansion, I believe that the benefits should be distributed amongst everyone, not just a few people at the top. And so I completely agree with you, Ellie.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, I mean, as I said, like I've seen directly how AI can really help. And I think it's like with everything in life, you just got to take the middle path. I don't believe those people as well who claim AI is going to take over our jobs.
No.
That's not happen. But it's about like balancing it out, using it where it's beneficial and, making restrictions, regulations, making sure we're using it ethically and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I think while AI is a great technology, like I'm very grateful. It's some things, it's weird. It's like sometimes when I listen to auto tune, even though like the pitch is perfect, it still feels off. And even though I'll listen to like a live performance and the pitch is off, but I enjoy it. And I think the same thing with like AI, where sometimes it's like I'll like read a piece of content and it just doesn't feel, even though it's grammatically correct, it's conveying the message and everything, it just
Yeah,
doesn't
I guess
feel.
that's what you would call the anima. The
Hmm.
anima is, the Latin word for what
Spirit,
literally animates.
live.
Yeah, spirit.
No,
So
yeah, living
it's
being. Yeah,
it's
no,
literally like
yeah, animus. Yeah,
AI is obviously not alive. So like you
no.
said, it can create a beautiful piece of work, but it's not alive, and we can sense that as humans. And I know people who will tell me, "Oh, you can't. This is just blah," and I'm like, no, literally, like you said, you can make a pitch perfect song using AI, but it just doesn't feel like it just doesn't feel real. Whereas when you see a live performance, there are no words to describe that. You experience that, you feel it, you feel right. This is art. This is life. And the anima, I think the anima is a perfect way to describe it. And yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
And yeah, it's where we get the word animated and animation from, is animus. And I think that when it comes to the spirit and the soul of things, and not just in art, also in science, like you're also like, if you actually, I almost want people, maybe not now, you're watching the live, you three viewers are watching the live stream, but I want you to see like PhD researchers try to use AI on their PhD research, and you're going to see it trip up because the thing is about being a researcher is you're a pioneer, and using AI, while it's great at other things, like I think actually there's like this, I think it's called matrix, I think it's helped with like the matrix multiplication algorithm, I could be wrong, so it's helped with that. But there's other things that like with science and art where you need a human input, because humans will ask questions that an AI will never ask.
Yeah, and
And
I think like with science, like to me with art is like the way I see science is like, from, I guess, yeah, you could see it as a kind of art as well. But I always understand science to be like an inquiry of like understanding the world around us and, you know, things that we're trying to see, like what's, most likely to be true and that kind of thing. But like, yeah, for me, art is more like, I feel like art is where the kind of inhibition is and the kind of expression. Maybe you can express yourself in science, but I really feel like the arts is where, like, and sports is where the freedom, and that's where you really see the human kind of experience without the kind of I don't know, science obviously isn't limiting, but in one way it does. You have to stick to a certain criteria, right? Whereas I feel like arts where you can just be and you don't have to worry about, am I being correct or not? Do you know what I mean?
I slightly disagree with, like, I understand what you're saying, but I slightly disagree with you because I think, like, when I think of computer science, I actually think of it as a form of creativity. Yes, you are following a
No, I
certain
agree with
set
you
of
there.
rules.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with you there. But I would say that's like the creativity side. Like anything that's
Uh,
kind of like input and output, that's kind of straightforward, right? Like
no,
that
that's
I
true.
don't think there's much room for expression in the
Mm-mm.
same way that creating a painting is way more like, that's basically just okay, yeah, there could be some rules and regulations, but
Yeah.
ultimately there's like a freedom of expression.
I completely agree. I think actually, if I think about what you said, my real response is I think the deeper you get into art and science, I think the boundaries actually get messier. Like when you get deep into computer science,
No, I
it
agree
get,
with you that. I agree with you. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
like when you get deep into and then when you get deep into art, I mean, I don't know if I don't know if you've heard of cubism, like that art music movement cubism.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's like I see that that's geometry. Like that's you can't tell me that's not geometry.
No, no, you're right there actually. And I
Yeah.
think no, I'm going to agree with you because I've even
Yeah.
heard musicians say like at some point it tips over into maths. So
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. Like I definitely agree with what you're saying there. Like I guess like maybe I was more thinking about like using the scientific method. Like I think that's quite structural and it has to
Oh
be
yes.
mixed,
Oh, it
Yeah.
has exactly. Because like I said, back to base reality, you do have to start at the base case. Like you can't do it the other way around. You can't start at the inductive and go backwards. No, you start at the base and you start at the base reality and go forwards. Because humans don't innovate backwards. Like we don't like Ellie. I'm not gonna be like, oh, we need to get on a vinyl record and like do black and white and go like watch like a
Yeah.
silent. We're not gonna do no the base. If anything, it's like the base reality of okay, like there used to be paintings on a cave, and then somebody realized, oh, wait a second, I can then like get a canvas and then I can put this on an art. And then the same thing with like a theater, like you used to act out live. And then people realized you can, oh, like you can take that sound waves and store it in information. And I think the same
Yeah.
thing with science
Yeah.
and art. I think it's
Yeah.
like, I think that's why the boundaries kind of get blurred because it's the direction in which progress goes.
No, yeah, definitely. I think it's amazing because I feel like at some point everything kind of gets blurred. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like when you zoom out, like everything just becomes really indistinguishable from each other. And almost like fractals, right? When you go in,
Um,
that's when you've got like all the
um,
diverse. Isn't that just amazing about life? Like it's so strange like that.
what I think is, it's like, I think, because I think humans have a compass for the eternal. And I think that's what we're
A really
actually,
nice way to describe it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
and I think that's what you're experiencing when you either zoom all the way out and you see all these different disciplines, or you go like in a fractal and you go all the way in. I think you're just experiencing the eternal. And when I think of the eternal, I think of some unknowable, unfathomable force. Some people call it God. Some people call it, a transcendence. Some people call it, and like whatever. But I think that's what is at our core in humanity.
I agree with you. And because I guess it's what makes us, right? We are part of, even if you look at it purely scientifically.
Oh, also, Ellie, you kind of on my end, you kind of broke up. I don't know if on your end you're still clear. Oh, okay. You broke up. But I think you were saying if you look at it scientifically, that's the last thing I heard on my
No,
end.
I was saying like whether you look at it like kind of like everything that's in us is out there as well, you know, like all the atoms that make us exist out in the universe.
Yeah.
And I guess I was saying like if we say that like, you know, the higher power, whatever sustains us, it's all connected. So I guess it does live in us either way you look at it, you know?
Exactly. And I think it's like this is what I think like connects all of us together is this unknowable, undescribable force. Because I've had so many conversations with you, Ellie, where I'm like looking at abstract theory or like compiler theory or theoretical science, and I'm like, why does this feel like linguistics? Why is it that I can like take this concept in theoretical computer science and it's like it's like it's not like a little bit, it's a one-to-one where I'm like, I guarantee you I could get a graph and I could just map out just relation or parsing. Like we have lexical analysis, we have syntax. Like it's the same exact word, even though completely different disciplines. And I think you'll see that all across. Yeah, and I think you'll see that all across, like all across disciplines, where you'll see things like where you like are very like, wait, that exists in this, and this exists in that, like, and I think that's like
Yeah.
the beauty of discovery.
Yeah, and I think like we were saying, I think it goes back to that principle of when you zoom out, you just see everything. It's almost like the Earth, you know, like when you see the Earth from a satellite
Hmm.
and you're just like, oh, everything on the planet is just in this one sphere, like
Yeah.
floating in space. Like that's I think that's how things I think that's just like a principle of life. Obviously I don't have the evidence or the proof, but I think
Yeah.
we can just kind of assume like, well, that's how things seem to be. But yeah, no, it's really, it really is just
No.
fascinating. And yeah, it's just it's such a great conversation to have as well.
No. It's
Yeah, and I was just gonna say I see the
yeah.
time
Oh,
is
you see
an
that time? Yeah.
hour, so
No.
yeah,
Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No. We
yeah.
can. We can. This could be a short live. That's a okay.
Yeah, we said an hour, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Before.
I mean,
Yeah, okay. I
my
was just
schedule
checking.
freed up later, but I am
Okay,
oh
yeah.
no, no, Ellie. When I say oh my gosh, thank you. Like this was really oh my gosh. Now, you know what the worst part is? I think we're ending on such a high note and I'm like but I think that's a good thing because then it's like no, we can like this is just the first this is like a mini series. This is a BBC mini series.
Yes, and I need to sort my internet out. I think I told you I've had a few
Yeah.
problems this week, and
Yeah,
it
that's
just
okay.
few interrupts. So I do apologize about that, about the kind of breaking up and this and that. So yeah,
Don't.
next time we go live, I will have that sorted out hopefully. So yeah, because that was frustrating me as well because I was like, oh, I hate when the internet dips because I'm, you know, I lose my train of thought and then I just feel like it's disrupting it. But yeah, I do apologize about that, but I will definitely try to work on that. I
Oh
should
my
have
gosh.
that fixed soon. But yeah,
Ellie,
thank
no,
you so much for having me again. Thank you for inviting me on. Another wonderful chat. Thank you to Baz in the
yeah,
comments.
thank you for
Lovely to
Baz.
meet you
Yeah, thank
guys.
you. Yeah.
And yeah, it's been wonderful. And as I said, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, we'll do it again soon.
Oh,
And
of course.
yeah,
Oh
I've
my
got so
gosh, you are
much
a
more to
friend of
talk
the
about.
channel. Yeah,
Oh,
no,
thank
friend of
you.
the channel. The feeling is mutual. Don't ever worry about your internet. You know, tech guy. I don't know who the UK Prime Minister is, but I'll give a phone
Yeah,
call to whoever.
yeah. Remember, it changed, didn't it? And
Yes.
I think you told me it changed. I was
I
like, what?
did. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
like,
because
wait, what? Yeah.
I
So I don't
wasn't
know who to
even
call for your internet problems,
yeah, I
but
wasn't. Yeah, I was so confused at that point. But yeah,
so
okay.
yeah, but I'm gonna
Andy
call
Burnham, I think it is now. Yeah,
like I
yeah.
said, I'm gonna make a few phone calls to the UK to get things sorted out because
You're
it's
gonna
not
ring up
looking
Donald
good,
Trump
bruv.
in the office and be
Yeah,
like,
we
yeah,
have
make the
Donald
phone
Trump out
call.
here giving FIFA World Cup. I just remember turning on FIFA. I see Donald Trump giving Spain. I'm like, what? What
Did
is he doing?
he? Did he
Yes,
actually do
yo,
that? I
yes,
think
he
he
actually.
wanted. I think he personally asked if he could do that because I didn't think the president of a
No, you're
country
not
was
supposed to. You're not supposed. You're not supposed.
really.
Yeah,
Oh my
political leaders are not
gosh!
supposed to get involved with FIFA. So I don't know what's going on. You know, we'll have next thing you know, we'll have Sadiq Khan. You know, just singing the national anthem in the United States.
Oh, You know what? That's more believable than I shouldn't say. Actually, no, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. But like,
Okay.
no, like I was just a bit proud though, like for Spain. I know I'm not saying I didn't want England to win. Like as I said it last time, I was very disappointed. But
Yeah,
it was
good.
nice. I was glad Spain won against Argentina. Like
Yeah.
I was hoping Spain would win against
I
them.
was hoping Spain would win too.
Yeah, and I'm learning a lot about Lamine Yamal. I think is
Lamine
how it is.
Yamal.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
only 18.
I
I'm just
think
like, wow,
19.
this kid's
Yeah.
amazing, man. But yeah,
No, he's
yeah,
such a
Viva
wonder kid.
España.
Viva la España!
And the UK.
Yeah.
No, I don't just mean Spain.
Yeah, it's
I'm also,
coming home, mate. You know, God bless America. God save our king. Anyways, thank you all for watching. My
thank you
socials will
guys.
be
See you
linked
again
down
soon.
below. We'll see you soon, and thank you, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.